either they just got done jerking off or they're about to start. Like, I can hear this.
Scorpio, coming at you live with your weekly Gamma Secret King Reddit review. We have another jam-packed episode for you this evening. And it is packed with your unauthorized grifter news, as well as your Gamma of the Week coming up at the end of the show. We have a very special episode tonight. This is the big GSK Gamma Hugbox crossover. And we will be featuring Sam Whitfield, and later on we'll be joined by Apex Gamma, the third wheel, the third wheel of the Gamma Hugbox. My first guest is the host of the Whitfield Report on YouTube and DLive. Ladies and gentlemen, Sam Whitfield. Sam, you still there, buddy?
Hello, everyone, and greetings to all of you in my chat as well who tuned into the Hugbox, and welcome to the Hugbox as well. So shout out to Brew as well for making the video that has become the Gamma Hugbox intro. So,
and just a quick programming note, since you brought up Brew City. Brew City Synth Chick will be my special guest next week, so we're all looking forward to that.
Awesome.
First, Sam, yeah, that's pretty cool, man. First, Sam, let's get our little banter out of the way. We had a big day today. I don't know if you got to see it. I know I talked to you all about it last night when we did the pre-show. I had an impromptu appearance on the Kurigan stream earlier today.
Really? So you went on Kurigan's stream then?
Yeah, it was a real last minute type of deal. I had been going back and forth with him on email since this morning, I believe, early this morning. And I was trying to help him get set up for the Reddit AMA. That's the big deal. Also, actually put that idea out, and we went with it, and we got a pretty quick turnaround as far as response goes. But in any case, he emailed me about, I guess it was about 3:30, 4 o'clock this afternoon, and he just said real quickly, "Hey, sorry for the late notice. I'm going on in live stream in 3 minutes. If you could pop on, that would be great." So, I couldn't say no to that invitation. So if you get a chance, check it out. But it was a very interesting conversation. It was very, very civil, and it was just a good lighthearted show. There was no debate, no arguing. It was just basically to test the waters out. And it was very nice doing that. The Kurigan was a pretty cool dude, surprising to say.
Well, as I said to you in private last night, he seems to be one of the more rational voices in Vox's camp.
Yeah, sure.
And, that's saying something, considering who we've been dealing with these past few years.
Yeah, and I put a community post on my YouTube page, my YouTube channel, because you can tag other channels that way, and he responded to that one fairly quickly, and he set his parameters. We're gonna do the AMA. We're probably gonna do another live stream. But it was just very reasonable, basic things. We'll be respectful to each other. No bringing up family, and like you said, he's one of the more rational of this the theocentric universe. And it went well. It went well. I was very pleased. We had some hiccups in the beginning. We had some sound issues, but we got that cleared up rather quickly. So it was a jovial show. Let me change scenes here really quickly. There we go. It was like I said, it was a jovial show. We had a good time, and we'll be hearing from him soon. Actually, it's going to be this weekend for everybody who is interested. we're gonna do the Reddit AMA on the Gamma Secret King subreddit with Kurgan, and I believe he said the time is gonna be 3:30 p.m. Central. That's gonna be this Saturday. So mark your calendars, get your questions ready, and I'll be posting some guidelines tomorrow on the sub, so we're all on the same page. We're gonna keep the ankle biting to a minimum on this one, but he's very good about that, Sam. He's very good about joking around, and I think that's where the misunderstandings come. Obviously, we're in different countries. It's hard to tell when somebody's joking, when they have an accent, or when they have a different way of saying things. You know what I'm saying?
Where is he from exactly? Do you know, or is it just some European?
Some generic European. He is from Italy, lives in London.
Ah. So, well, I mean, I like the Italians for the most part. So, and I'm not being disingenuous when it comes to Vox and his crew. I really didn't have a problem with any of them until, Owen popped into their whole, kind of clan or whatever, and that's what I've at least tried to explain to Vox and his dreaded ilk, which, I didn't want to jump the gun on anything, but I know that we were going to talk a bit about that, so.
Yeah, Johnny Arcade is in the chat. Welcome, Johnny. I think this is his first time tuning in. He says, ask the Kurgan why he made the Bears pay for his trip to Owen's show. He actually mentioned that today when we were speaking. That might be a good question to ask him on the AMA. The way he explained it somewhat today was that it kind of sounded like he had to be paid to go to Owen's show.
What a shocker! Someone having to be paid to go to an Owen Benjamin show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not a big shock there. I mean, he got the Bears did a GoFundMe and raised his airfare and probably his stay. But they got him to the show and he was there, and that's what he was saying was that because he's not very familiar with Owen Benjamin's programming. He doesn't. I believe he said he hasn't watched him in a year, but
what he's one of the top 5 comedians of all time, according to him.
Yeah, according to Owen Benjamin, he said that he met him for 5 minutes. That's basically he kept driving that point home. This is a man I met for 5 minutes. So he's not a big. In other words, he's not a big Owen defender.
Sure.
So yeah, like I said, in summation, very good experience, impromptu stream with the Kurgan earlier. We'll be seeing more of him this weekend at the Reddit AMA, Gamma Secret Kings Reddit, and sometime in the future we're going to do another stream, and I think that one might have a more serious tone. I think I might want to be able to ask him some questions that might slip through the cracks on the AMA. So that's just another programming note, but I'll keep you updated. I'll keep everyone updated on the Gamma Secret Kings subreddit. So, Sam, I got before I forget, I want to thank Carl Green Magic for providing that clip at the beginning. that was pretty funny, the gangster Kurgan. We have a bit of celebratory news. The Owen Benjamin subreddit turned 3 today. Today is the OB subreddit cake day on Reddit.
Really, it's already.
What do you think about that, Sam?
It's already been 3 years.
3 years today.
Now I can't remember if that was a subreddit that was started by Owens fans for Owens fans, or if that was what it's turned into now. If it was always that from the beginning.
No, yeah, that's a question that comes up often, and the truth is that it has always been an Owen hate sub. It's not. It never started out pro Owen. The man who started it is the top mod is Trial and Aaron, and
Yeah.
he actually had an altercation with Owen. I forget. I think it was through Twitter. He made some comment to Owen Benjamin on Twitter, and Owen Benjamin threatened to punch him in the face or break his nose. Some kind of internet tough guy talk.
Oh,
And
oh, was this
Aaron went and started the Owen Benjamin subreddit as, I think you'll agree, the ultimate form of revenge, seeing how things have turned out.
was this the this wasn't the Mohican Sun guy, was it? The guy who
I, I don't know. No. I don't think it was an actual physical altercation. I think it was just a threat of violence.
Okay, well because there was the guy who actually got punched in the face by
Yes.
Owen like a long time ago at Mohican Sun. This was I don't think Owen had like even quite left Hollywood yet at this point. I don't believe, but there was that altercation, um, and that was the first time I had really ever heard of Owen Benjamin tangentially, and that was like 3 4 years ago now. So
Yeah, that was several years back. I actually included that in Owen Benjamin debased and cringe pilled, and I
yeah,
believe that was,
yeah.
yeah, I think that was I don't remember. It closed out a certain chapter, but I think it was talking about um, his violent and irrational. That might have been the sodomy chapter, just talking about his irrational actions and words.
What a shocker.
We have one more thing, and you brought this up last night. I wanted to talk about it. Just one more quick little thing. Um, Let me check very quickly. I guess we'll see when Apex pops up here. I got the Discord on the screen. Hope you don't mind. Uh,
I don't mind. I'm actually, just so you know, I am playing basically the video of your D live stream on my stream, and then I'm in the lower third on my stream, like you are with yours.
oh, I see. I don't. That's yeah. We talked about that last night. The crossover stream, and we're all on the same page. I didn't know you could do that though. That you're gonna have to show me how to do that one day.
Yes, we're crossing streams. So
Right, crossing the stream. First we had the room whack, and then we crossed the streams.
and then we all got into a hug box together.
That
So
um,
uh,
as I said, you brought this up last night. It was a quick little story I wanted to talk about. Owen urinating on a goat. You want to set that up?
yeah, so I did not even realize that this had happened until Brew City again
Yes.
actually made a video on this, and so the video I saw was Owen talking how he pissed on one of his goats to assert dominance or something, and at first I thought that maybe Brew had edited it to say something like that because she's very clever like that, but no, it's actually after doing some research on the GSK and Owen Benjamin subreddit, it's real, I guess. And I mean, as I told, uh, as I said in my Discord and in Brew's Discord, uh, usually that type of stuff would be something that's like, wow, you don't hear about that every day.
Sure.
But then again, it's Owen Benjamin we're talking about, so nothing should surprise anyone at this point.
Yeah, you never can tell with that man that the craziness is always taken to new heights. Um, and now what happened was, again, this is according to Owen, and you have to take everything he says with a large shaker of salt. Um, According to him, the goat urinated on him first, in front of Amy. and that was some kind of display of dominance on the goat's part. So in order to not be shown up and to assert his own dominant position in the goat hierarchy, I suppose, the next day, I believe it was the next day, he went and urinated on the goat to show him who's boss. So what? How does that strike you, Sam?
Um, you know, it strikes me as crazy, but again, this is Owen we're talking about here, so it doesn't, like I've said, you have to suspend your disbelief with him, kind of, and just accept that he will literally do anything. This is the man. I just want to remind people. This is the man who was purporting to drink turpentine to kill the gay worms. So pissing on farm animals to show dominance or alpha status is not that far out of the wheelhouse comparatively.
Sure. Oh my God! And I guess there's not too much more to say about that. As you said, it's just sheer insanity. I can't say that would I can't say that I would do that myself. And we talked about this last night. Now you and I are both city folk. I don't have very much experience at all with any type of farm animal, livestock. But I know cats and dogs, and I know animals in general, and those things, they pee, they poop on people. I mean, if you happen to be in the way, you're gonna catch some urine and excrement. But it's never crossed my mind that I need to go and return the favor to let's say, a domesticated animal.
Well, certainly not in that way. And it's funny because my stepfather's friend from college. This is going back 40 years now, probably. But his college roommate is a farm out in Kansas. So
Okay.
I actually went out to his farm a couple times as a kid, and not once do I ever remember my stepdad's friend, urinating or defecating or anything like that, even remotely close in that, range of things to show, dominance over his farm animals or anything like that. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a city slicker. So.
Yeah, and to be fair, that man was probably an actual farmer and not a YouTuber playing make believe with the homestead, with the suburban homestead.
Yeah, it was. So.
All right, my friend, let's move on to our news. Pause for our Gamma News transition, courtesy of Foreigner Hoon. All right, we are back with our Gamma News of the week. And as you know, Sam and chat, we cover grifters primarily on GSK. So we have as I said at the beginning of the show, we have a big show with very many grifters. We're trying, Sam, to move out into other grifters. Now, obviously, as everybody can see on the screen, our top story is going to be Owen Benjamin, who has actually, as far as grifters goes, has rocketed into the stratosphere this year.
I will say this. I finally figured out Owen is like a bad strain of herpes or something. No matter how hard you try and get rid of him, he just keeps coming back.
That's an excellent analogy, Sam. Our top stories tonight, Sam, is going to be Owen versus Firewood. Now, I find this story absolutely hilarious. Uh, this has been going on. Did you get to catch all the memes that have been going
I
on the Owen Benjamin subreddit primarily?
Yeah, I actually did catch some of the memes that are out there, and in fact, for those of you joining in on my stream, I think I'm on the GSK subreddit right now, and there are a couple of firewood memes out there. So
Yeah, we'll go over some here. Still not your friend in the chat points out that it has been dubbed Woodgate 2020, and this is actually a big deal. Let me read this Instagram post really quickly. Actually, it's a Reddit post. This was posted by u/Green Thumb 248, and that it got 51 upvotes. A self-sufficient homesteader, alpha male buys overpriced grocery store firewood. You can't make this shit up. So we have a picture that Owen himself, Mr. Big Bear 3366911, posts to Instagram, and he says, "Every time I go to the grocery store to get one thing, I end up leaving with all the firewood." So as you can see, the picture that he himself took and put on the internet, he has an entire backseat of his overpriced luxury vehicle filled with bundles of firewood. Now, you're familiar with that type of firewood, correct, Sam?
oh yeah, definitely. There's not
Yeah,
much.
I mean, you see them everywhere in front of the convenience stores and whatnot.
Yeah, we do even have firewood here in Florida. I don't know why anyone would need it, but we have it here. So
Well, we have, I mean, obviously we have it all over Texas. Down here in South Texas, mesquite is popular. Um, they also use a lot of pecan, but we use it primarily for cooking, for barbecuing.
right,
Yeah, we don't have very much cold weather down here either. So yeah, it's a lot of barbecuing. And like I said, I'm in the city. I mean, I've chopped firewood before many times, but there's not really a need down here. If I'm barbecuing, I'll pick up a pack myself. But as we pointed out earlier, I'm not the I'm not the homesteader. I'm not the man of the land,
right.
as Owen Benjamin claims to be. So why don't you go ahead and break it down for us a bit more as I pull up some of these memes?
I mean, there's really not much more to break down. I think I think pretty much that's all there is to it. Owen is the one claiming to be the big manly homesteader, and yet he can't even chop down firewood or won't rather, which I find this to be even more amusing considering that back when he was on Rogan and when he was like in Oswego, he was like when I had first heard him on Rogan with like Kurt Metzger before Kurt Metzger came in and basically like took over the podcast. He was talking with Joe about like how he was doing arborist stuff with his brother and whatnot.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
he went from being a tree arborer to needing to go to the store to get firewood. I mean, we make fun of him for a lot of stuff, but that legit should be in his wheelhouse at least. So
Yeah, and we're looking at when as I've been scrolling through the subreddit, and it's just I've personally I've never seen a phenomenon like this, where it's just I mean I think this has been going on for the last 2 or 3 days. It's just meme after meme after meme of
I I
firewood.
I like that Jon Snow one, that Game of Thrones one you have.
Is that who that is? I wasn't familiar. Thank you for letting me know. I never
Yeah.
watched that show. I wasn't familiar with that character. But here's what happened, Sam. Okay, so he put that up on Instagram, and we had I believe he was a bear before this incident. The man's name is Josh Fromer, and he called out Owen for buying the firewood from the store, and that sent Owen Benjamin on a multi-day spiral over this one thing. I believe he banned 150 people on Instagram for either uh, teasing him or liking the teases. You know how thin-skinned that man is.
Yeah.
And I think he addressed it on stream. Also, I think Carl clipped that, and I don't have it queued up, but you can imagine how this man reacted.
Well, if it's the same Josh Fromer that I'm thinking of, and it might very well be, I think that guy might be like a subscriber to the newsletter on my blog. So that would kind of
wow.
that would kind of be funny if it was if it was the same guy. But people
Yeah, I
in
would.
people in my chat, by the way, are commenting things like, "Is he going to piss on? Is he going to pee on the wood, or what is he going to do with the wood?" And to that, I mean, he very well might piss on the wood to show dominance. We don't know.
Oh my God. Yeah, and a lot of people have pointed out, excuse me, how cold the winters are in Idaho, and I can't imagine. I mean, the man's gonna have to go to the grocery store. I mean, he probably won't anymore, but I don't see that backseat of firewood lasting very long during that if they're gonna be heating their place with it.
Well, no, and again, this brings up a question that I think I asked the last time. Either I was on GSK or it was on one of the early Hugbox episodes, but I don't understand why he picked Idaho in particular. I mean, listen, I'm glad that he's not in Florida, but there are a lot of prepper people, down in Tallahassee and, in Texas and Florida. So he could have picked somewhere with a warmer climate if he wanted to. But, like I
Well,
said,
yeah, I think we did talk about this before. The the prevailing theory is that because there's that Vertex tactical that is based there, and that's Owen's latest man crush, uh, to put it mildly. So it's believed that he moved there to be closer to that man. And now remember,
uh,
this is going to be his private militia, this Vertex tactical outfit.
yeah, yeah,
Right.
that's going to go super well, especially if things turn out weird in this election. Yeah, yeah. Owen Benjamin is not going to be a militia leader. That I can't tell you the outcome of the election, but I can certainly tell you that Owen starting a militia or a successful one is not going to happen.
No, and just right off the bat, it sounds to me like another LARP. I mean, we had whatever the hell other things he had. He LARPed as a Christian. He LARPed as a homesteader. Many very various other manly occupations that this man wanted to be. And militia leader is just going to be another one, in my opinion.
Well, what I've noticed is that he still does. The thing with his LARPs is he never really leaves LARPs. He does this weird sort of, um, he tries to combine the LARPs, even the LARPs that don't make, that just don't go together. Like at first he was LARPing as, Christian, and then he was LARPing as like an Islamic, uh, faith, uh, faith person for a while, and those two things just diametrically don't go together. But he jammed them
Right.
together somehow. He's still like a moon, denier, and he'll bring up the he'll bring up he'll bring up the grapplers, but then he'll also be very pro grappler too, supposedly.
Sure.
So he just like there is something to be said for mixing and matching styles and whatnot, because that's what I try and do with my podcast with comedy and politics. But man, he's just all over the place with mixing things
Yeah, I
together.
don't I don't know what you would call it. It's not at all an evolution. I guess it would be a devolution. But yeah, it's certainly an amalgamation of all kinds of various craziness. Um, Really quickly, Sam, I want to take a pause to thank our contributors tonight. Excuse me. In first place is Still Not Your Friend with 17 lemons. In second place is Starshine with 16. Blaze Dust Dreamer is in third with 14. Chuck Boris with 10, and Bruce City Synth with 3. Thank you very much for your contributions, folks, and
If
please let's step it up.
if I might go ahead and actually read mine real quick, because I think some people have left
Sure.
ones in mine. Let me get over here real quick to mine. We have let me see here. Let me go. Okay, we have so far we have Logos Grand Bear with one lemon. So that's good so far. I think we might have had someone else, but I missed them.
Was that Logos Gravy Bear?
Yeah, well, yeah, Logos Bear. So thanks.
Uh, yes, yeah. Thank you very much, everybody. Let's move on, Sam, to story number 2. Now, you, Apex, and I actually that might be Apex. Did he just enter the chat?
Uh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess. Yeah, he did.
All right.
fellas?
Perfect timing. Ladies and gentlemen, Apex Gamma has joined the building.
Hi guys. Sorry I'm late.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. It's a little more hectic than usual, but I'm here. How we doing? I was trying to listen to the show, but the same reason I couldn't call in, my data, I couldn't listen while I was driving, and the main reason I'm late is I ran into an accident on a country road here. There's somebody flipped over in a ditch, so I had to stop, make sure they were all good. The Good Samaritan thing.
Wow.
They were fine.
Yeah.
They were fine. But yeah. So I'm here.
They were probably rushing home to be on a live stream.
You're right. That's exactly right.
Be-
They told me so.
Being a good and noble citizen is such Gamma behavior, Apex.
I know, right?
How
It's okay.
how dare you?
Yeah. So where we at, man? I don't want to derail. I'd like to just hop right in.
You actually showed up at just the right time. We're moving on to story 2, and I was setting it up that you, Sam, and I were talking about this last night, and this is we're gonna do a little disclaimer before we begin. But the story 2 is more Amy mystery injuries, and the disclaimer is that we're going to be sensitive and mature about this when we talk about this. We're not gonna levy any unnecessary accusations. And if we do, we're going to make sure that we use the word allegedly and ask the question, could it be? If we do.
Right.
Well, no, we're going to be mature about things. We talked about this last night. Let me pull it up really quickly. We have this one here. This was posted by u/RealVoxDay, and it's titled, "What a Shiner." I guess the coffee must have been a bit cold this morning. And we see pictured Amy with how would you put it, Apex?
Well, it does look like a shiner, and it's not unlike what we've seen a very similar injury back when I was making clips of her. And the main reason I wanted to discuss this, because like you said, we mentioned prior to the show whether or not we should even discuss it, because we lose the high ground when people start making, I mean, we're all about making fun of Owen and speculating about things, but, kids and wives and stuff. And, nobody's out there seriously calling Owen a pedophile without evidence. And I kind of see it the same way. But, one of the things, again, the main reason I wanted to bring it up is what you don't see people talking about in these. I've not really been in the subreddit much, but in my comment section specifically, was nobody would even cater the idea that, she's got little kids that flail their arms around and she's running a whole fucking house and a bunch of animals. I mean, she could have banged that eye on anything, And the fact that Owen won't address it is what makes it kind of weird. But
yeah. Sam, what do you think about this?
Well, I mean, I've actually had people message me, and ask me like my thoughts on this. Listen, I don't know if there's any, physical abuse going on. All I will say is that Owen has admitted in the past to maybe emotionally abusing Amy, when they were dating, early on. I don't know if that behavior has continued, and in my opinion, that's just as harmful as physical abuse, if not more so in some ways. But, I don't know. She does work on a farm. The other thing is she did just have a newborn, and from what I see in that picture, those could just be bags under her eyes from having to take care of an infant. So
it could be a weird shadow. Yeah. Now that I'm seeing it on screen, I finally got Eli. Yeah. I mean, it could be a weird angle too. But again, I think it was you, Sam, that mentioned. I'd forgotten about this. Owen has actually been open, or he had previously been open about how emotionally abusive he was to Amy, and it was like one of those rare self-awareness moments, a few years ago at this point. But he was on stream saying that, so yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I'm not discouraging people from speculating and having opinions. I just, it's more like when it comes to this more sensitive things like this, I personally like to take a more tactful approach and, until I see him. I mean, it's just like the turpentine shit. He can claim all he wants that he's drinking turpentine, but until I fucking see evidence of it, he's just lying. Just until I see, actual, some harder evidence than him refusing to address it and her having some random shiners, because again, I mean, I don't know.
And Apex, when we talked about this last night, there was a couple of issues. You pointed out that this is, for better or for worse, this is news. This is the news that's on the subreddit, and we would be remiss if we didn't cover it. I mean, we would look like we're trying to hide something or cover it up. And Awful Lies pointed out to me also. I think it was in the show email that we might look insensitive to domestic violence. If that's the case. I'm not saying that it is.
Right.
But so there's a couple of different things going on, and I had we talked at the beginning of the show. Sam and I were bantering for a bit. I had mentioned the Kurigan. I came on the Kurigan's program earlier, and one of his issues was, excuse me, talking about the children, talking about the families and whatnot.
Of course.
And and we talked about this last night, and I tend to agree with that, especially in the case of the children.
Right.
I don't think it applies so much to Amy, just because of how complicit she seems to be in some of these grifts.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. I'm sorry, I was reading chat. What was the question exactly? Make sure I answered it right.
No, there wasn't a question. I was just
okay.
Trying to lead you to something.
Oh, my bad. I've spaced off for literally a second and a half, and I missed the last 4 words that came out of your mouth. Sorry.
Apex,
her being complicit in the grift.
Apex, I do want to. Johnny Arcade has an important question for you in the chat, which is, Why does Apex smell like a gas station blowjob?
Well, because one thing I do for a living, man.
Uh-huh. What I want to know is, how does Johnny know this, huh?
That's
How does
actually a
Johnny know
very
what
good
gas station
question.
blowjob smells like? He's my best customer. That's how. You go down, I go down, motherfucker. Or I go down, you go down.
Uh,
Yeah, but
So
no. Again, I don't think that Amy's free of criticism. But I think there's a lot to be said for her position in this thing, regardless of what Owen is and what Owen does. She's being effectively a good woman to her man. She's falling in, she's falling in line, and for better or for worse, that's maybe not a good thing in all cases. But again, we don't know the ins and outs behind the scene.
yeah,
We know what we see, and we know what Owen shows us, but that's just work. She could compartmentalize that as work. I mean, again, she's got a family to raise, a farm to raise, a fucking garden to grow and harvest, and pumping out kids by this fucking Neanderthal
right.
to take care of as well. So, I mean, I give her more credit than I see a lot of people, but I don't think she's blameless. But I don't think she should be, the target really of anyone's vitriol or. I mean, personally, she's not the target of my vitriol. I can't tell anybody what to troll and
Sure.
what to, what to think. But
Sure,
that's just my
and
opinion.
it's one thing to call out Owen and attack Owen. Like I said, um, Amy seems to be complicit in a lot of these activities. Just
Absolutely.
off the top of my head, for example, supposedly her idea to move to Idaho and do the Bertardia thing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
I mean, she won't be getting a free pass. But
Right. No,
like
of
you
course
said,
not.
I'm not gonna,
Not
I'm not
suggesting
going,
that.
I'm not gonna go out of my way to attack this woman. I don't,
Right.
I don't care enough. I mean, like you said, she's doing her thing. She's providing for her family and whatnot. So we can give her at least that much credit. But
Yeah. Again, maybe I misspoke calling her like a good woman, because I don't think that's necessarily. I don't see enough evidence for that either. But I just mean in the sense that whatever Owen is lying to her about, or whatever she is aware of, she seems to just be doing her womanly duty. I mean, she could do it better, but who the fuck can say they couldn't do things in their life better? But yeah, I mean, again, she doesn't get a fucking pass from me either. But I just don't think that I don't know. She's never been the focus of my
yeah,
my attack.
yeah,
Although she has always been fun to make fun of, in certain cases.
yeah, absolutely. Sam, what you get the last word on this one?
Listen, I'll just say that, yeah, I absolutely thought that, Amy is complicit. And for the record, I was actually one of the ones who initially thought that, Amy would have been the one to bring Owen to, you know, I guess common sense about, Nimmer and whatnot. I had kind of held out hope back in the day that that would be the case, but, clearly she's as much of a grifter as he is, and I don't really feel sorry for her, but I don't want anything bad to happen to her either, I guess. Just like I don't want anything
Sure, yeah,
bad to happen to Owen.
yeah. I think that's what it comes down to. I mean, we don't wish any ill will on these people, but we will catalog their going ons. Let's move on to this. Is another big story, and Apex, I'm going to rely on you for a lot of it because you're the one that brought the story to my attention. We're talking about Baked Alaska. Now, Baked Alaska is one of the. Let me pull up the story really quickly. Baked Alaska is one of the grifter locales that tends not to get too much attention from us. And I started to tell Sam earlier, I think I talked with you about this before, is that I really want us to go into branch out into other avenues, into other grifters. So I want to keep introducing more and more of these stories on the GSK review. But we have Baked Alaska, and story 4 is Baked Alaska gets the boot. We have YouTube nuking Baked's channel due to him being arrested. I think he got arrested for causing a kerfuffle at I believe it was a sporting goods store over wearing a mask. And as often happens with these men, where they'll talk big, but I don't know if it was in the video you sent me, but he was crying as he was being put in the police car.
Yeah, begging.
Yeah,
begging for forgiveness and for mercy. This is a shit show. I mean, it's funny because I see the shit poster in me can't help but smirk ear to ear for the content, just sheer content. But like the human in me is like, I can't. I mean, first of all, the talk of him getting banned and everyone going to bat for him,
right.
I don't see any defense for that personally. What he has done with this newest IRL venture, I mean, there's been a couple of times already. Early on, they fucking were macing a dude unprovoked and shit like that. I mean, assaulting people, literally assaulting people on camera, and then they did so again, harassing people and continuing to assault people and getting in fights and shit. I mean, say what you will about YouTube's terms of service, but like that is the kind of shit even fucking 10 years ago, was kind of. You'd be lucky to get away with for a month before they caught on. It was like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's
exactly.
Violent. That's like the core of all these nefarious TOS has been built off of. It's like shit. Like, you can't fucking advocate violence. You can't show violence. You can't go out and make money off of violence, which is what he's doing. So, I mean, the idea that he has any defense is laughable to me. I don't know how you guys feel about that, Sam. I don't know how familiar you even are with this. Story.
I wasn't familiar with this story, with this particular story. However, I go back to the days where Baked Alaska was Milo's in-house producer or whatever, and
he was the tour manager for the Dangerous. I think it was a book tour.
Yeah, and Fluffy Phil, who is in my chat, he knows Baked and about Milo as well, from when Milo came to Penn State. So I used to be somewhat of a Milo fan, admittedly, back in the early days, but then Baked took a really wildly different approach from Milo, to put it mildly. And, then there was the whole thing with Ashton Birdie, and nothing's quite been the same since. And all I will say is I wasn't really even aware that Baked Alaska was back until I saw him get into like a Periscope fight with, into like a Periscope stream fight with Rex Jones, Alex's son.
Right. Yeah, you told me about that last night. Excuse me. But we have now. This is a very complicated story. It's a lot of strands.
Maybe some baked, a brief baked story if it doesn't know. I just wanted to interject.
Sure, go ahead.
Quick, about Baked Alaska and his history on the internet. The refusing, or the ever undead Charlottesville incident that is perpetually thrown in our faces by, the Democratic Party in particular, and even some of the Republicans. Baked Alaska was a torchbearer in that Charlottesville march.
Yes.
Right. And then he built an entire audience on this whole, he was in one of the OG right-wing grifters, I think, in the Trump era of the internet. And then he did the old flip-flop where he wrote a book about how he was brainwashed by the alt-right through meme culture and shit like that. And now all of a sudden the dude is back, waving Trump flags and macing people and fucking hitting on underage girls. I don't know if you saw that clip. I saw this on Twitter earlier. He's
Oh,
literally getting like a 14-year-old or 16-year-old girl's
yeah.
fucking number.
I
And
did.
she's,
I did.
yeah, dude.
I,
What the
I
fuck,
saw a
man?
rant. I saw some YouTuber. I'm assuming it's a YouTuber. I think it was a mirror or a clip channel or something. But there was some dude with the, what was his name? Jesus, it was one of the, because this is all connected to the RV6, right? There's some kind of RV thing going on with these
Yes,
idiots?
that's correct.
What was the man's name? A guy with a thick, dark beard. I think he's a part of that. I think he was a part of that whole deal for at least for a little bit. But he was talking about accusations of underage. Let's say let's say underage illegal activity on Base's part. Excuse me, baked part. And I don't have that queued up. I just saw it before the show. I mean, this is gonna go in wildly different directions after a while. I mean, this man is Baked Alaska is one of the biggest low-cal idiots I've ever seen.
And grifters too. Don't forget
Right.
that. Like again, like he fits the theme of. I mean, grifter local. Like he's grifter local extraordinaire. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
the fact that he's back on the radar is good for content, but it's bad for
Sure.
everyone that comes in contact with him.
I agree with that. Now, as I said earlier, this is a multifaceted story. I want to get to some of these points before we move on. But so we had the official story being that it was the sporting goods store incident that got him kicked off YouTube. However, we have unofficially the fact that Tim Heidecker, that puto from that god awful Tim and Eric show.
That piece of shit.
Yeah, he added YouTube, I believe, and got him taken down. That is
and Heidegger is also just some backstory on that piece of shit. Is also responsible for Sam Hyde being kicked off of Comedy Central several years ago.
Yes,
So,
many may remember that. Yeah, he's. Oh God, y'all make me have to do so much work.
Sorry. I need a soundboard.
He got Hyde show blocked from Adult Swim. But we have now. This is bringing out, as it tends to do, this grifter. We speak about this often. The grifter connections, the low-cal connections. We've got people coming out of the woodwork to defend Baked. Now we had Mersh, who has been coming up more and more on this show. He actually went on a multi-day Twitter and D-Live rant support of Baked, whereas in the past he had, I believe, formally called for Baked to be kicked off of YouTube himself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's speak about some of that Apex. Who else do we have? We have Mersh, and who else?
Well, oh shit, on the spot. Well, I know there's a bunch of people, and they're not like necessarily any big names that I can think of off the top of my head, like bigger creators, but I just see a lot, in particular on Twitter. Well, it's honestly, the tables are turning, because at first, people were hard in defense, but now people are like, oh wait, this is what he's doing. So yeah, off the top of my head, I can't think of any other.
Excuse me, aren't Fuentes and the Grifters?
Oh, the Fuentes. Dude, I can't believe I skipped that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Fuentes has attached himself at the hip to Baked on this whole thing, and it is not going to end well for that young catboy lover.
Good. And all I can say, and again, Pluffyville in the chat can back me up to say this, but good riddance. If I'm glad that Nick has tied himself to this whole thing. I hope he drowns alongside Baked in all this. Metaphorically speaking, of course, in Minecraft. Uh,
Allegedly.
Right.
Now, Sam, you and I were talking last night about some of this, about some the way. Now we don't typically get too serious about politics on this show, but I just find it interesting. I think we're talking about the direction that the Groypers were going. Refresh my memory on that conversation we were having last night.
yeah. So I mean, we had a lot of, um, you know, I mean, the whole Groiper thing has kind of been like a weird amalgamation of things because at first they seemed to be kind of independent from Nick, from what I understand, and then they like became his cult, and some others have said that they always were, but it seems to me that no matter, what I've learned is that all these internet personalities at one point or another, they all have cults of personalities, you know, and,
Yes.
and they all join at the hip for one another at some point. So, um,
Well, that's what I mean when I talk about these grifter connections. That we see it with, just for example, when we had Cassandra Fairbanks a while back. Supposedly, she was being hunted by Antifa, and she needed a new place. So up jumps Ezra Levant to set up a GoFundMe for her so she could get a new place. Now, I think the details came out that that whole situation was very iffy, which is not surprising coming from these politigrifters. But they're always protecting each other. They're always running cover for each other. They're always supporting each other in various grifts. And we're seeing it here in a somewhat different setting, but it's pretty much the same deal, no?
No, I would agree with
yeah,
that wholeheartedly. It's exactly like it really it seems to be very few factors that change when you analyze these things across um, different spheres of influence on the internet. You know what I mean? Like you
Yes.
find weird connections that there shouldn't be between personalities that you know shouldn't be connected, or you know, I don't know. I mean, it does seem like exactly par for the course. It's why I think in 10 years, the term grifter and like this whole thing that we're witnessing and you were documenting and we're talking about the phenomenon of grifting is going to be like a whole new study of psychology, or it's going to like open up. Maybe not. I mean, because the internet itself is it's a whole new experiment. You know what I mean? Like mass communication and shit. Anybody can be a star, et cetera, et cetera. All the other things we've
Yeah.
heard
There
forever.
and there
Uh,
definitely should be. I think. I
I
think
think there
that there.
will be. I don't think there's
Yeah.
any doubt about that.
Yeah, and whether it's going to be, whatever the establishment is, or just guys like us sitting around talking about it. I mean, it's got to be more has to be uncovered because as it is now, there's not too much information out there, and what is out there is very conflicting. I mean,
Yeah,
I
oh
haven't been able
I
yeah,
to
think
find very many resources myself.
and I think that places like the Reddit, or like Reddit in general, are serve as hopefully will serve as the places for the people with the talent, the resources, and the gumption to compile a lot of this information and use, you know, I mean, I don't know, because you know what? Even Johnny Arcade talked a while back about writing a fucking book on Owen Benjamin. The only problem is what's the ending? You know,
Yeah,
because he's a perfect encapsulation of it. Because the dude, well, maybe not perfect, but he is a very good encapsulation. You can hit a lot of you know literate literary hot spot. You know what I mean? Like emotional points and shit, and tell a true story at the same time. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think you're right. We're living in a weird time in general, but with the way the internet has gone and is now, and God knows where it's going to go. Fuck, for all we know, all this shit will be wiped. Nobody will ever talk about any of it because you know what I mean. Fucking
Yeah, well, they can't, they can't wipe out what's up here, and we all have our memories. We all, at the very least, can tell a friend, spread the word. We'll do it old-fashioned if we have to.
fuck
But
yeah, man.
the internet,
Let's go back to our Native American tradition. Spoken history. Fuck it.
smoke signals.
That too, homie. I can abide that. All right. So yeah, I mean, but in conclusion, for me personally on this whole thing, I don't. Are we concluded actually, or is there more points you wanted to hit? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead and put in the last word.
Well, no, I mean, I didn't want to necessarily get in the last word, but my concluding point on this, because this is still an evolving thing. Oh man, actually, I don't know. Something actually I wanted to point out directly related to the baked thing and the RV thing is that chicken Andy, dude. I sent you that some clips of that early on when I told you about the story. This kid that I don't even know how old he is, but he was supposed to go on the RV with Baked and the boys, and they left without him or whatever. So he took a bunch of Xanny bars and drank like 3/4 of a some I don't remember, tequila or some shit, and he live streamed the whole thing, and it was very disturbing. But
Yeah.
that look into that, guys, if you haven't seen that, chat and viewers. But,
and that was the young Hispanic boy. No, it wasn't that the one in the first video you sent me. He was the one that actually maced the other guy.
That's right. With the empty mace can, yeah, or the mostly depleted mace can. Yeah, but I mean, I think this is kind of what freaks me out about the whole, I mean, all of this shit, because I see people, they jump so hardline in this day and age, and a lot of people that I've seen defending Baked Alaska, like I said, people that I respect, have since, they went hard at first, and they've since come around and been, oh shit, I didn't realize these were all the things these idiots were doing. Like somebody's gonna get fucking killed.
Yeah.
The black kid was fucking running around a police officer, blowing a whistle, just circling him from like arm's reach away, and the cops like, you better your friend's gonna get fucking tased, man. You know, and Big like, oh, you're gonna tase him for blowing a whistle? You're scared of, you know what I mean? It's like, it's just so, somebody's gonna get hurt, first of all, and I don't feel sorry for them, second of all, and third of all, I think the shit's gonna get worse. Ultimately, somebody's gonna get hurt. Somebody's probably gonna die on the RV6 trip. That's my prediction. And I don't think it's good.
And I would just like to point out too that it's weird that, I mean, it's not weird, but it's not even really surprising, but it's ironic that Baked Alaska was the one who was kind of mocking the cop and saying, "Oh, are you gonna tase him?" Because this is the same guy who, for better or for worse, got famous off a video called "We love our
cops."
we love our cops, which
Oh my god, that music video is the fucking worst thing I've ever seen.
Oh my god, that's a good one, Sam, to bring up. Absolutely, we'll end it on that. That's enough Baked I can handle for right now, until the next shit show. Let's move on to story 5, and this one, we probably won't talk about it too much, but it is tangentially connected to our favorite grifters, and also featuring a man who is a grifter in many people's eyes. We're talking about Jordan Peterson's return. I don't know if y'all had a chance to see this video yet. He's back. The man is back.
I did watch it, but I'm not so sure that he is. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's crazy. Let me go ahead. I'm gonna play a little bit in the Reddit player, and I hope that it works well. It worked well last week, so let's try it out here.
Okay.
I'll unmute it. Oh, hang on, Sam. You want me to pause?
Yeah. Just because I might Let me see if it'll play through your thing onto mine too. If not, I'll have to play it on mine. All right, I'm queued up if you need to play it. So,
Okay, are you at 0 seconds?
yep.
Okay, I'm gonna press play now.
Hi, everyone. As some of you may know, but others will not, it's been a long while since I put up any new content on this YouTube channel. I've been suffering from impaired health, severely impaired health, as a consequence of benzodiazepine use for anxiety, or more accurately, from a combination of using that medication and then ceasing its use once I realized it was dangerous. That's put me in and out of hospitals for much of the last year in Connecticut in the United States. They aid me in the severe post-use.
About this, I watched it this morning. I didn't get to watch it when it was first posted on the GSK subreddit, but I watched it this morning and I was just I don't know what the word is.
Sad.
Awestruck, maybe. I mean, the man was looking horrible. Yeah. Well,
Sad,
I mean,
man.
I don't know. I suppose so. I mean, you don't like we've talked about earlier. You don't wish that
you don't
type
like
of thing
to
on
see
anybody.
people like that, right? I don't like. I would not be happy to see Owen. Well, I mean, yeah, I would. I mean, that is not Owen level of like mind loss. You know what I mean? That is
Yeah.
that
Well,
man.
that's what I want to
Go
know,
ahead.
Apex. Is it now? He mentioned in that video that he had some sort of neurological damage. Is that what we're witnessing there? Do you think?
Maybe.
I mean, I think, yeah, I think that's likely. But I also think that based on what I know of him from his work and the things he believes and how strongly he believes them, I think he might be a little there might be a little hypochondria in there, because I don't know. I mean, I've known people that have taken lots of Xanax before for many years and have come out of it. Many of them have not, but
Yeah.
because he's so smart and he's so like I don't know, empathetic. He's not even that smart, but he's a very thoughtful person, and he thinks a lot internally. I think he may be. I don't know. I mean, I definitely saw pain in his eyes and in his voice and stuff, but I think he's still coming to grips with a lot of things.
Yeah.
Burning the dead wood, as he would say. He's still burning some of that shit. Perhaps, maybe though, he's fucking gone. Maybe that he's. It's hard to judge off of one video, is the thing, because he has literal like thousands of hours worth of content out there. And I've not watched even a fraction of it, but I used to watch it back in the day. I liked some of his
Sure.
lectures and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it was painful to watch. I honestly didn't know how to take. Like, I felt like maybe he's just so freshly home that all the shit hasn't real life hasn't come back to him yet. He's still living in that fucking in that realm, because I mean, he looked like he was ready to cry the
Yeah.
entire
I
time. He
think his
sounded like he was
voice.
ready to cry.
Yeah, his voice
Right.
cracked often during that video.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I think the poor dude. Again, say what you will about him, but his meteoric fucking rise in popularity and making like fucking, I don't even remember during the peak on the Patreon what he was making, but
I
he
think
went
it was.
from
I think it was 100K a month.
yeah, something like that. It was absurd. It was absurd. And, I can imagine what that would do to me or to any normal person that wasn't necessarily seeking popularity. I think maybe he was to some degree, because what professional doesn't want to be recognized in their profession? You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Sure.
So the idea of your ideas becoming popular and influencing people, I think that's what anybody that has ideas wants, whether you're talking an artist or a psychologist or fucking anything in between. So yeah,
Well,
it was painful. But go
well,
ahead.
Sam.
Talk
Well,
long.
Sam, I wanted to get your perspective. You might have some interesting insights on this neurological damage. Were you going to say something about that?
Yeah, well, I wanted to kind of jump onto Apex's point actually because, Apex brings up a very good point where, where I think, and this was certainly my case when I started my podcast, I mean, I started the podcast because I had ideas I wanted to share, but yes, I'll also admit that there was, I did kind of want to get my name out there, and I think that Jordan Peterson kind of had that same mindset where he, wanted to share his ideas because he thought that maybe they could help people, improve. I think that's where a lot of people start off, and is Jordan Peterson a full blown grifter compared to Vox and Owen? I'm not really sure about that.
I would disagree with that.
I would disagree with that too. Regarding the neurological disorder, I mean, the one thing that has always kind of struck me about Jordan Peterson, and actually, Dennis Miller, the comedian slash podcaster, brought this up on his podcast. He said that when he met Jordan Peterson, he said Jordan Peterson was a really nice guy, but he just seemed very depressed and, down. And that's always kind of been my perception of Jordan Peterson, too, where, like, honestly, if I were to meet the guy, I think the man just needs a hug more than anything. He seems like one of those types of people.
Maybe. Yeah.
Let me just interject here because we're getting some pushback in the chat. The chat seems to believe that Mr. Peterson is 100% a grifter. Y'all are getting unpopular on this segment, gentlemen.
That's cool. I'll take it.
Yeah, that
because my philosophy of a grifter spreads as far as anybody that has a fucking job and gets paid by somebody they don't like and wears a uniform. I mean, has he grifted? Fuck yeah. Like, he definitely leaned into what was given to him. But
Now,
I think that's what is conflicting him and has been, because
it's possible.
The dude is, I mean, personally, I think it's a again, just from what I know about, from what I watched of him back in the day, he doesn't, I think he got so many people's attention because he came off honest, and you know what, liars can do that, but
yes.
I mean, we see where he's at now. So let's say he was an honest man that tried to grift and is now paying the fucking consequence. I could buy that. Or I mean, maybe not. I don't know. I don't fucking know. Maybe he's.
Yeah,
I
well,
really don't. I don't fucking know the man. I really don't. And
Well,
I watched a tremendous amount of his content, but
well, here
I know that that's often thrown about that he's a grifter. Now, I think Sam said maybe he's not as big as Vox or Owen or something like that. I would expand on that and say that maybe he's not as obvious, or maybe he's a bit cleaner about the way he does things. Now I watched a lot of Jordan Peterson when he first got popular, and it didn't take me long to see that there was something wrong with the man. There, like you said, Apex, maybe some sort of issues with honesty, maybe some sort of trying to hide lies or something. But I couldn't. The more I listened to him, the more that he wasn't telling me anything, if that makes any sense. And that always sets off red flags when we're talking about grifters.
certainly.
We've talked about this before, where that's the old-fashioned definition of a grifter is a confidence man, somebody that's selling you something that ain't there. So,
well, what I saw of him, and I mean, maybe I'm underselling it a little bit, because I actually did watch a decent amount of him too when he first, when he first stood up against the, the what is it, the pronouns or whatever. When he first, started to gain traction on the internet, I went back through some of his old lectures and some of his videos and interviews and whatnot, and what I saw, man, I kind of lost my point there, pulling that pulling that thought out. Was okay, you were talking about the classic grift and him not telling you anything. What I saw of him was him admitting that he wasn't presenting any new ideas. He wasn't telling you anything that smarter people hadn't already come up with. He was just giving you his interpretation of it, which was different from, reading those words yourself in a lot of cases. Things like Nietzsche and Solzhenitsyn and the things he, pines about in various lectures and whatnot are complicated books. And so he extrapolates and he does kind of expand on things that you already know, but presented in a way that, for me, I don't want to say enlightened me, but it was a different perspective, and not a dumb one, on things that I already knew, I guess, or maybe already thought, conceptualized, or what have you. And that's not 100%. It's, again, I didn't follow him once he got huge and started wearing like fucking $4,000 suits. The whole Sam Hyde thing, or not Sam Hyde, Sam, the other Sam, the atheist dude.
Oh God.
Yeah, right.
Harris, Sam Harris.
Oh yeah, Sam Harris.
Yeah, the whole Sam Harris debates where they fucking, and getting, as Owen and Vox have pointed out, making people pay fucking hundreds of dollars to shake their hand and shit. And, stuff like that.
Let me tell you. Now his stuff, the stuff you're talking about, like I guess, what would you consider it? The psychological stuff, the self-help stuff. I listened to that and I took it for what it was. What turned me off though was I started listening to his biblical lecture series, and I thought that there might, he might have something interesting to say. And I remember, now it's been years, but I think I watched him do like 3 videos, and each video was like 2 or 3 hours long, and couldn't even get through Genesis because his I don't know if his mind was so befuddled or if he genuinely didn't have anything to say, but that really turned me off. I didn't get anything out of the biblical lecture series. Right. I didn't even get through it all because after a while I was like, well, this is just bullshit.
Right. Yeah, and the biblical stuff, I did watch some of that too, and admittedly the fucking like 4-hour streams or actual like lectures, just raw uncut video, is basically unwatchable. But excuse me, back in the day, I remember some edits, that would compile 16 hours worth of his footage into a 45-minute or an hour video, talking about, going through the best things he said about Genesis and the best things he said about, everything in between, and Cain and Abel, etc. It's right. You're not wrong, dude. He basically tells you nothing. He just gives you his opinion. But what the fuck do we do? So yeah, I don't know. Again, I think it goes back to anybody that has a voice would like to be heard, and anybody. I don't see that he did anything special, except for the trans pronouns thing. That could definitely be framed as a, an opportunity to put himself, unnaturally put himself in the spotlight. But it also could be natural. He seemed pretty passionate about the idea of not being forced to say words that he didn't believe were necessary. He never said he wouldn't call trans people by their preferred pronoun. It was the idea of legally being obliged to do so. And that seems that seems like a good enough cause for anybody that believes in speech to stand up for. And the fact that it was televised and blew up may or may not be his fault. I mean, I don't know. I've not seen evidence to say that it was like he did that on purpose, or went out of his way to, put his career on the line to stand on a line that nobody else would at the time. You know what I mean? So what?
Yeah, sure.
So what is the grip?
We don't.
Like, he stood on principles and people liked what he had to say, so he monetized it. Is that a grifter? I mean, because that's what everybody that has any kind of skill does.
Yeah, well,
I mean, the lies, the cheating, and the subversion and shit, that all obviously falls under. But I've seen less evidence of the lies and the subversion part on and maybe Sammy, you hit it right on the head. He's certainly lesser of a grifter than the Vox Days and the Baked Alaskas of the internet. But I would say, I mean, I would have to agree that he would certainly fall into a category of grifter. I just don't know where.
Well,
Sam, what do you want to say to close this out?
Well, here's what I will say. Kind of going back to kind of the chat pushback. This, again, especially with Jordan Peterson, brings up kind of the age-old question that we ask here on the Gamma Hugbox, which is, what exactly is a grifter? Because listen, I have a podcast and I monetize that podcast. I just launched a Patreon and I'm doing that. Does simply monetizing something you're good at make you a grifter? If that's the case, then damn it, I'm a grifter if that's your definition. But I don't think it is. And like I said, I don't think Jordan Peterson started out necessarily to deceive people or to maybe I don't think he started off as a grifter, but I think once the fame kind of goes to your head, I think maybe that's when you become a grifter. And so maybe Peterson is a grifter now, but maybe he's also returning to his roots, maybe, or trying to. I don't know. Only time will tell.
We'll have to see how this plays out. So we're gonna go ahead and end that there. I guess we'll have to agree to disagree on this one. Really quickly, let me check in on the contributions. Have in first place, Still Not Your Friend with 27 lemons. Starshine with 20 in second place. Chuck Boris moves up to third place with 16 lemons. Thanks Dust Dreamer with 14 and Old Bear with 12. Thank you very much, folks.
And on the Hugbox D live stream, we have Bruce City with 4 lemons, Still Nacho, Friend with 3 lemons, and Logos Gravy Bear again with 1 lemon. So thank you, folks.
Right on, man. So let's move on to our final story for the night, and this one is let's say goodbye to Jordan Peterson. This story is 200 million views seems a little high. We're talking about, I don't know if we got to talk to you about this last night, Apex, but we're talking about Vox's blog. A big salute to all the Gamma ankle biters, past and present, who have contributed to so many page hits for vox.shittyblogspot.com. No wonder he thanks his enemies instead of his supposed readership. Now we're talking about Vox Populi, Vox Day's blog that he's had for 17 years, and it's 200 million views in those 17 years. So before we move on, I just want to, before we discuss this, I want to read the last paragraph where he says, I would, of course, be remiss if I did not express my deep personal appreciation to all the investigative reporters, intelligence agencies, science fiction social justice warriors, and self-appointed thought police for their assistance in making this possible. It literally could not have been done without you. And that's what it's meant when I say that he thanks his enemies before he thanks his readers. Sam, why don't we go to you first? What do you think about old Tedster's accomplishment?
Well, 2002 called, and it wants its blog format back. So, I I will say this: it's impressive because in the age of smartphones, I didn't think a website could still look like it was from the early 2000s, but Vox made it possible, and to get 200 thousand hits or whatever on a website that outdated looking, that's even more impressive. So, so
Very
great going, kid.
Wait, is it 200,000 or 200 million? I thought you
Yes,
said 200 million.
200 million.
200
200
million.
million.
So,
Christ.
yeah, well, shit, that's even more impressive, though. The time to, now, Vox, it's time for you to upgrade the look to something a little more modern.
Well, I mean, he might try getting off of Google's platform. I believe Google owns Blogspot. Um, but yeah, this is Mr. Big, not Big Tech, Mr. Against Big Tech. He's building his own platforms, and yet we have him using Blogspot. We have his email account, voxday@gmail.com. On and so forth. This is a man that is celebrating all of these 200 million views have come because he is on a well-known blogging platform. Are they not?
I mean,
Yeah, it's kind of ironic, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, hell, he could even go over to Medium, which was started by the guy who started Blogger and having a much better look. But I mean, it is I guess kind of impressive. But as you said last night, Scorps, it took 17 years to get there. So
Right.
there's that too.
Yeah. And that's just we like to end our news segment with a little fluff piece. We're not going to get too much into that. We will, however, move on to the audience participation portion, which is a fan favorite. And of course, I'm talking about the Gamma of the Week. So, to any of newcomers, because I think I see a lot of new names in the chat. The way this works is that we will present 3 Gammas who have gone above and beyond the call of duty as far as their Gamma responsibilities go. I will present 3 of them to you. I will assign each of them a number, and when I am done, you chat will vote on your favorite choice for Gamma of the Week. We have some good ones this week. I don't know how we're going to work this, gentlemen. We have 2 of you here tonight.
I was thinking about that,
the...
bro. You know what we should do? If it really comes down to it, you should literally flip a coin and let Sammy pick heads or tails, and whichever of the 2 wins that coin toss will be the winning vote. That was my thought.
Yeah, that'll work, man. Let's try it out. Let's get started here. Let me go back so I can show these off. We have entry number 1 is Mr. Josh Fromer with his, of course, as we mentioned earlier, he is the man that set Owen spiraling for, I believe, to this day on the firewood.
I'm sad I missed that
Yeah,
story.
that was
because I really wanted to weigh in on that one, but that's a good catch, bro, and good work.
Yeah, Josh Fromer. He's as it says here, Josh Fromer is my new hero, and he even gave a shout out to the Secret Gamma Kings, but we know what he's talking about. Let's see. We have entry number 2, and this one I think we can actually play it. We're gonna try and play it. So get ready. Should play automatically off Reddit. Entry number 2 is Carl Green Magic for the OG Martian, Mr. Kurgan. Let's see if this plays. Should. oh, wait. Here it goes.
Oh, hold on. Here.
It might. I don't know if yet. Well, it's which one was this one? It's not work. It's not working anyway, Sam.
Okay.
I don't know what that. My internet's getting ready to act funny, but we had a couple of good Kurgan memes. They were actually video memes from Mr. Carl Green Magic. Okay, the one we played at the beginning, we'll make that Carl's entry for this week. The OG Martian. What was it? Gangster Kurgan. And entry number 3, we have NMW for Armchair Psychologist. Why Amy Always Smiles. And this one was actually pretty interesting. She like she says, she played Armchair Psychologist and examined why Amy always has that passive aggressive smile on her face. So let's see. It's rather long. Let me see. Let me pick out some highlights here. Watch Amy when she comes on the stream. As soon as her face shows up, she starts giggling. Even when she's describing something sad, bad omens, child development delays, she reverts to giggling. So, again, we were kind of talking about this earlier. I think she makes a connection to some kind of battered woman syndrome, which is alleged. We will not speculate too much on that. But let's go ahead and one more time. Let's get ready, chat. Let me repeat them. I'm going to repeat them one more time, and then I want you all to cast your votes in the chat. Either 1, 2, or 3. 1 for Josh Fromer, the Firewood Foe. 2 for Carl Green Magic for the OG Gangsta Kurgan. And 3 for NMW for Armchair Psychologist.
And real quick, if you're in my chat, feel free to do the same thing and play along.
Okay. It'll be honorary votes.
I'll say it'd be hard to count, but
yeah, it's token votes. All right, it's looking pretty one-sided at this point. And honestly, I can't say that I'm surprised. It was a very stiff competition this week.
Yeah, it's not that surprising. I'm getting a lot of the same ones too.
All right, so we're gonna let Starshine tabulate. Let's check in on our contributors one more time. Has anything changed? Looks pretty much. Oh, Forlorn Hope is now on the leaderboard. Forlorn Hope has moved into the number 2 place with 20 lemons. Thank you, Forlorn Hope. Let me go ahead and get ready, guys.
Brew City with 5 lemons now on my stream as well. So.
Oh, right on. Okay, so Starshine is telling me that we have a winner, and it is number 1, Mr. Josh Fromer.
Yep.
Firewood Foe. Congratulations, Josh, the Gamma of the Week. So let's go ahead, guys. I'm going to get ready to open the chest soon. Let me go ahead.
Yeah, great work, Josh. That was a good catch, man.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Let me see. Let me go ahead and add a bit to the chest to make it more interesting. Guys, I want to talk to you about the Hugbox. What's coming up? First off, we got to figure out what the schedule is going to be like. First off, Sam, is there going to be a Hugbox this week?
Well, I mean, I think this episode could be the Hugbox theoretically, but if you want to do another one on Friday, I'm always down for that.
We should change the name to the Thug Box, the Gamma Thug Box.
Yeah, Will in the chat, whoever that is, recommended that, and
let me go ahead and open up the.
Congrats to on my chat, Bruce City, and with 327 lemons, and Still Not Your Friend with 188 lemons for the Whitfield Report D Live.
Thanks.
That's pretty good.
Thanks, Grandma Brewpex.
Yeah, no, we normally do it on Friday nights, the hug box.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we kind of have to get how would you say it, guys, on the same page, or we? It's kind of a real quick. Let me acknowledge the winners. We have Blaze Dust Dreamer won 32 lemons. Bruce City wins 18.9. Johnny Arcade wins 13.9. Still Nacho Friend got 11.3, and Corsair One got 9.6. So congratulations to all the winners. Apex, Sam, we have to get serious about this hug box thing.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I agree.
hug boxes are a very serious matter. We have to get serious at not getting serious at all. So
No, no, I disagree. I disagree with that. I think Scorpio's right. We got to get some stories. We got to do this shit right, my friend. Make it a part of the Whitfield rapport. The Whitfield rapport.
I like it.
And
Let's do it.
just to clarify, this kind of the hug box concept has kind of morphed or evolved into kind of the stories that fall through the cracks. No, I mean we kind of talk about some odd things.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
odd,
that's
but
why
different.
I think-
Different from this show and different from Sam's show.
I think that's why it's a good place for it, because the Whitfield Report on Saturday night is political. We can get all the
Yeah.
Owen Benjamin shit out of his fucking brain on Friday night and anything else related, and we can talk about politics and stuff on Saturday, like like the show's supposed to be.
We talk politics and boobs on Saturday.
Well, the boobs are supposed to go to Patreon. I thought that was the deal.
Oh yeah, Well, now that is the deal. So
They're gonna have to pay for the Boobfield report.
yeah. Yeah.
All right, guys. What else? Sam, I know you got a couple things to shill.
Chill it.
Yes, actually, speaking of the Boob Field Report, I do have a Patreon page now. So if you go to if you go to patreon.com/Whitfield Report, you can sign up for my Patreon, and for $3 a month, you can get my unrestricted podcast called The Savage Express, where I know a lot of people have been requesting that I do like music reviews and movie reviews and just more general casual shows. And because of the YouTube algorithm, I can't really do reviews because of content strikes. And in fact, Scorpio, you and I were talking about that last night. But I think Patreon will allow me to do some of that stuff unrestricted. So, will there be nudes? I don't know. Subscribe to find out. So,
I was just gonna say, you said it was $3 a month for what you just said. Now for $2 a month, I will. Never mind. Never mind. Not gonna go there. I was gonna say Gamma nudies for when you pay Sammy $2 a month. I'll post weekly nudes for the $2 tier for Sammy's Patreon. There you go. How you like that?
That sounds like a real cheap date.
It is a cheap fucking date.
Apex, you got anything, my friend? You want to plug?
Your mom. No, I'm just kidding.
We have,
No.
what do we have? What's going on with the channel? Are you gonna revive the Apex Reloaded?
I don't really know, quite frankly. I'm currently scratching my monkey brain trying to figure out how to record music in a decent way, because I've been playing a lot of guitar again, and I've been actually drawing again too, and I've posted some of my old artwork on Twitter, which I guess I could plug that, but I'm not going to. I posted some of my old artwork, and I've gotten some positive. It's kind of motivated me to like start sketching again. So I may make it entirely non-Owen related. I may make another channel for that shit and just I have thought about reviving, but there's so many people doing it so much better than I ever did, and that was actually my entire goal. Look, guy, look at this fucking retard. My videos suck, but you could probably make better ones. And now we've got Milker Nation, we've got fucking Bruce City, we've got you, and countless others that are. I mean, One Step. There's tons of them out there now.
Sure.
I don't have the resources to do that shit. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I mentioned before, I would love the idea of taking Owen clips and making them like metal, like making like cutting it up real, writing a metal riff and shit, and
Oh yeah.
putting some drums to it, and making him say his crazy shit in weird edited clips. But again, it would take me 10 fucking years to figure that out. So I could write some music. And I can talk. That's one of the things I do want to do is start my own Gamma stream and just start talking shit by myself.
Yeah,
To-
yeah.
to
We still need to set that up. I know we've talked about that in the past.
I need help. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and there's
But
plenty of. I mean, there's a lot of talented people in the chat. In addition to present company here. So, yes, I think that's pretty much it. That's the end of our show, gentlemen. That was our big GSK Hugbox crossover show, and I think it went rather well. We had fun as always. The chat had fun.
Sorry I was late again. I really wish I could have been here for the whole thing, but IRL takes precedent, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, you were great. I'm glad you showed up. Sam, great as always. I want to thank both of you again. As always, I always like to thank my guests, Sam and Apex, our contributors. Foreigner Hoon contributes great graphics and animations. Mr. Carl Green Magic, always contributing great work. Our producers, Awful Lot of Lies and Still Not Your Friend. My in-house producer, Starshine. And, of course, you viewers. Good night, Internet denizens. We will see you next week on your GSK Reddit review. All right, guys, we're clear.
Oh, man,
5 months of full-blown. I'm doing videos on it.
The dick.
You're involved in a trauma cycle.
Give me a 9-inch dildo.
It's not even anything.
And right now, NASA figured out how to get the biggest dick in the world. So they did it with magic.
Less thing to do with placenta.
Well, folks, with the Whitfield Report in its 5th season and me starting my 14th year of podcasting in 2021, I figured now would be as good a time as any to start a Patreon page for the podcast. And I know everyone these days has a Patreon page who is a podcaster, but let me tell you what you're going to get if you decide to join the Whitfield Report Patreon. At the $1 level, you'll simply be contributing. That'll simply be a way of saying thank you, and I appreciate it, but that's that. However, at the $3 level on up, you're going to be getting access to an exclusive podcast that I'm hoping to do weekly called the Savage Express Podcast. And on that podcast, exclusive to Patreon subscribers and supporters, I'll be covering music and movies and pop culture and personally and anecdotes in ways that I can't cover on YouTube or traditional podcast platforms. I'm hoping to do this every week. I might not, but it'll certainly be a longer form podcast for those types of topics if you're interested in that sort of thing. And I also might be re-releasing some episodes of the Whitfield Analysis, my old podcast, re-releasing the back catalog, as it were, digging out some old video clips that I've had in archive for years and posting all of that exclusively to the Patreon site for you guys. It's going to be a good time, and there are a couple of different tiers you can join in at. I understand if you can't join the Patreon, but if you're able to financially support the show and you want to help out, joining the Patreon would be the best way to do that. So I encourage you to go to patreon.com/Whitfield Report and sign up on one of the tiers today. And again, folks, I want to thank you for supporting the podcast. Thank you for listening to the podcast. And hopefully, I can look forward to your financial contribution, which I deeply appreciate as well. God bless, folks, and Godspeed amongst thee in that order.